Hello, and welcome to another edition of East of Ethnia. Today, I want to talk to you a little bit about the European Union, especially the news today. Very welcome news for Albania that they have opened up the final cluster of chapters for negotiation for entry into the European Union as a member state. So this is a very big and very meaningful move for Albania. Does it mean that they are going to become a member anytime soon? Not necessarily so. The Albanian Prime Minister, Edi Rama, has said it is his goal, first of all, that Albania should become a member of the European Union while he is serving as Prime Minister. He has also said that he hopes that this will happen by the year 2030, but he can't predict the future. This is aspirational. I think the only thing that you can really conclude from this is that Edi Rama sees himself as being prime minister until at least 2030. But nonetheless, this is the first big shift in the progress of negotiations for one of the candidate and aspirational states in Southeast Europe in a long time. It should be welcomed, and we should try to get an idea of what it means. Now, we don't know how these negotiations will go, or what the end game is for negotiations between Albania and the European Union. So, will Albania become a member by the year 2030, as it hopes to do, or not? We can't say. This is going to depend on a lot of political decisions and on questions that we can't really predict. From the EU side, though, I think it's important to see that something is happening with the candidacy of one of the states, because here is the optimistic interpretation of the events of the day, and that is that people in the European Union have finally begun listening to the criticism that they have been attempting for years to influence the behavior of states in the region by offering the promise of eventual membership, but that this promise seems to be more and more inaccessible, and that people in these states don't any longer see any real prospect of membership, so that there is a need to do something to let some state make some progress, and it seems they've let some state make some progress. So this might be very important, and it might be meaningful for the other states in the region. But let's take a look at the candidacies of the other states in the region and see whether they're helped by this. Probably along with Albania, the one state that is the most likely prospect to advance its candidacy in the near future is Montenegro, and this will probably continue going at about the speed that it goes. Montenegro is not helped that they have continuing instability in government, which makes their negotiating platform less stable as well. For the rest of the states in the region, though, the progress of their candidacy and negotiations to eventual membership basically depends on their relations with their neighbors and with neighboring states, some of which are member states and some of which are also prospective member states or candidate states. So for Bosnia and Herzegovina, I mean, certainly a lot in Bosnia and Herzegovina depends upon whether the Republic of Serbia and clients of the Republic of Serbia in Bosnia and Herzegovina will continue destabilizing the state, making membership less likely. But Bosnia and Herzegovina has also got a difficulty along the line of its relationship with Croatia, which has not been shy about using its advantageous position as a state that is already a member of the European Union to put a lot of pressure on Bosnia and Herzegovina, particularly as this relates to constitutional reform, the eventual increased autonomy of some parts, some cantons that are now part of the federation in Bosnia and Herzegovina, and changes in the electoral law that would be designed to favor the satellite party of the currently governing party in Croatia. Similarly, with Kosovo, a state that is not yet a candidate, but of course, all of its prospects for membership depend on settling the ongoing dispute with Serbia, and in particular, getting stronger affirmation of its independence, particularly from also the five European Union member states that do not recognize the independence of Kosovo. So this depends on relations that are not directly within the purview of relations between Kosovo and the European Union. For Macedonia, Macedonia has made very serious efforts to try to meet conditions for membership in the EU, but they have had difficulties because of campaigns by neighboring EU member states. And just as soon as they reached an agreement to settle the dispute so that Greece would stop making problems for Macedonia, Bulgaria started making problems for Macedonia. Um, Both of these states are states that are able to use their veto power to prevent progress toward membership, and that seems to be what they're doing. And then finally, with Serbia, we talk a lot in this series about Serbia and the different problems that Serbia has, particularly with corruption, the rule of law, and harmonization of foreign and defense policy with the European Union. Serbia doesn't seem likely to make progress on any of those fronts, and consequently seems just as unlikely to make progress with membership. So, how do we take the news today? It is an interesting piece of news that might have the consequence of strengthening the incentive of the promise of eventual EU membership, to be used as an incentive to advance reform in the candidate states and prospective candidate states in the region. But we still need to see some material consequence of these kinds of moves, some willingness on the part of the European Union to move forward and to overcome some of its divisions that are preventing the advancement of states, and some willingness on the part of states in the region to bring their institutions and especially their democratic processes, independence of media and judiciary, into line with European standards in order to meet the conditions for membership. So it's a nice move. It's a welcome move. It still leaves a lot of factors uncertain. And that's what we've got to say about that. So thank you for your time and patience, and we'll talk to you again soon.